And guess what I found out? Michelle and I realized he was dating us both and dumped us both the same week. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be getting ready with you guys, and this is the finished look actually, and I hope you guys enjoy this. We're going to be talking about all of the tea, all of what happened, how I found out my ex cheated on me. But yeah, let's get started. If you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe down below, give this video a thumbs up for me, and let's get started. For primer today, I'm using the YSL Touch Eclat Primer. I've used this once and I don't remember how I like it, so I'm going to try it again. And today we are going to be talking about the time, actually I've gotten cheated on multiple times, but we're going to talk about the most recent time I've gotten cheated on by one of my exes and how I became friends with the girl he cheated on me with. If I do talk about another girl in this video, her name is going to be Michelle. She is the other girl my ex was dating at the same time as he was dating me. And Michelle has already given me full permission to talk about anything I want in regards to my ex and me and her on social media, because we're both BFFs now and we don't care. My ex though didn't really give me his permission, but I also don't care because he cheated on me. So I'm going to be taking a foundation. It's the Loreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear. So let's start off with how I met this ex of mine. I went to Seattle to visit one of my best friends. She's my high school best friend and she goes to UW. So it was spring break and I was flying to Seattle to hang out with her. And at that time, she had this boyfriend who was friends with my ex. And I told her, hey, set me up with someone because I know my best friend. Like, you know, if you've just been friends with someone for a long time, you know how they act. And when she's around her boyfriend, she's around her boyfriend. That's all that matters. No one else really matters. So I just want someone else to be there with. So I'm not just like third wheeling the entire time, you know? So he was there. I met him. In the beginning, I was really like, I didn't even want to be his friend. Like, that's just not my vibe. With that type of people is just not my vibe. And he was hitting on me a lot. And then I remember, I think they were all drinking and he was really drunk. And if I remember correctly, because I wasn't drunk, if I remember correctly, he wanted to leave, like drive home, but he was drunk. My friend was like, Shila, like he's obviously interested in you, like can you just like kind of convince him to stay? So that's what I did. I convinced him to stay. We didn't do anything. I just kind of convinced him to stay and like not leave because he wanted to leave because it was getting boring for him because I wasn't talking to him or anything like that. Like obviously I understand too. Like if a girl you're interested in it wasn't talking to you, your best friend is all over his girlfriend, like you're gonna want to go home. So then I started talking to him and I started getting to know him more, and he was telling me this whole story about his family. To this day, I don't know if that story is true or not because later on I found out the whole relationship, there's so many things that he lied about that like I don't know if his background story was also a lie. But he was telling me how he had this really sad upbringing and like he was like financially responsible for his little sister and all of this thing, and that's why he's the way he is, that's why he doesn't go to college, all of this stuff. And if you guys know me on my channel, I have always talked about how like I didn't have the best upbringing. Like my parents came here as immigrants and like we were really poor, all this stuff. So I definitely had a lot of sympathy for him. Being with my past, I definitely understand that like not everyone is meant for college, not everyone has an easy upbringing. And we started talking more and more, and as he was telling me about his life, I just felt so much sympathy for him, and I was like, you know, this guy could be a really good guy. Like he might not typically be like a guy I would normally date, but he seems like he could be a good guy. So I gave him a shot, and I think that trip all we did was like make out, but then I was like really confused. I'm not the type of girl to just make out with anyone, so I was really confused if I wanted to pursue something within this little thing that was going on. So I left Seattle and then we started talking like every day. Like he was texting me and all this stuff, and then I was like, okay, you know what, I've always been someone that if I want something, I'll go get it. So I told him, we'll see what happens if I will come visit Seattle again. And I did come visit Seattle again because we were talking nonstop. I came to visit Seattle again for him, specifically for him. That was my second trip to Seattle. It was fine. It was honestly whatever. And the third time I was in Seattle, that was when everything changed. I went to Seattle for a week, and I think it was my spring break, and I went to Seattle for a week. And if I remember correctly, before I came to Seattle, before my 3rd trip, he like called me his girlfriend as we were FaceTiming, and I was like, what? I'm definitely not your girlfriend. You never asked. Like, honey, we could be talking every single day, but if you never asked and I never agreed to be your girlfriend, I'm not your girlfriend. Like, that's just how that works. And he got really mad and all this stuff. We got a huge fight because I was like, I'm not your girlfriend. And he was telling me like, you want all these benefits, but like you don't want the label, blah, blah. Our relationship then and after started getting really toxic. He started like just being really mean, and then like after he labeled me as his girlfriend, our relationship got really toxic, and he just started getting really mean and like would start getting fights with me every 2 seconds. Like would literally ignore me, block me for like no reason. Like we would like have like the tiniest argument, block me, and then like I would freak out because I'm like, what the hell is going on? And like, you know, if you're doing long distance, it takes a lot of communication. He was not communicating, so I was really, really confused. And he would always unblock me after and just be like, everything's fine. Like we don't really like can talk about it, but we don't really talk about it. We would get in fights and then make up, and then get in fights all the time, and it would anything and everything would make him mad, and I didn't understand why. I dated this boy for 3 months. In 3 months, I went to Seattle 4 times for him, so that's a lot for someone who's a sophomore in college. I'm not a sophomore in college anymore. This is 2 years ago. I went to Seattle to visit him, and let me just tell you, this boy did not pick me up from the airport, sent his friend to pick me up from the airport, which, you know, I understand sometimes stuff happens in life and you just get busy, so you can't pick me up. Okay, whatever. You know, you think that's all fine and chilling, like whatever. I wasn't tripping too much about it. And then guess what? I was there for a week, and guess what? How many times I saw him? 1. Because I booked an Airbnb, so I wasn't staying with him. When I did see him was the last day before I flew out to Seattle. He drove me to the airport and was like, yeah, maybe it's not the best idea that we do this. It's just not gonna work out. And I was just like, I was literally so fed up at that point. I was like, yeah, maybe it's not the best idea. Like we should break up. Because I kid you guys not. I kid you not. The entire week I was in Seattle, this boy literally made plans with me every single day and was like, yeah, I'll come pick you up, blah, 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 I'll come do this. Would ghost me or just not come at all and not respond. Like not respond and not come, or just tell me like, oh, something came up, but he can't come. Like every single day. But towards the end of the week, I was just over it. Like I was 100% over it. Like I knew at that, like I'm a very reasonable person, and I'm very patient, and I'm really patient when it comes to relationship, and I had it. It took me a whole week to finally like pick my stuff up and go, I don't deserve this anymore. It was around a day and a half, and FYI, if you are sensitive to the topic of kind of like of self-harming or having depression, oh, click off of the studio just right now, just click off of it. He called me at 6:30 in the morning, and I was like, hello? And then he was like, hey, like I just wanted to talk to you. And I was like, okay, what's up? And he was just like, nothing, like I've just been really sad lately, like nothing is working out, blah blah blah. And I was like, I'm so sorry, like blah. I was trying to cheer him up, you know. It was like 6:30 in the morning. I was very tired. And then he was like, I'm gonna send you something. And I was like, what are you gonna send me? He's like, don't get mad, okay? And I was just like, what are you gonna send me? And he sent me a picture, multiple pictures of him cutting himself. Like he was self-harming, and he was cutting himself, I think, across his chest, on his arms, and he sent it to me. It was very, very graphic pictures, and it was really, really scary. I freaked out. Although he was not my boyfriend anymore, he was someone that I did care about once upon a time. I don't care about him anymore. You're a table person, dude. I did care about him once upon a time, so I was like, I'm gonna fly back to Seattle, and I'm gonna hang out with you, and I'm just gonna make sure you're okay. I'm gonna come for a few days, and I'm just gonna stay to make sure you're okay. I think I stayed for 3 days. I flew back to Seattle within 24 hours of that phone call. Do you know how much that flight ticket was cost? It was 4 times the price because it was during summer. It was so expensive. But I still flew back. And to this day, I don't think I regret flying back for him, even though I hate him to the core. I just feel like as a person, that was the right thing to do. Even if I did hate him, it was the right thing to do, because I would have been on my conscience if I didn't fly back. Because like if he said something happened to him, I would have felt really bad. So when I flew back for 3 days. I kid you not. This man, I'm gonna tell you right now, you guys, you don't deserve, no person, no girl deserves, no boy deserves to get yelled at by their significant other in the relationship. I don't care who you are, male or female, your significant other, they're yelling at you, and when you're trying to help them and they're yelling at you, they don't deserve you. He was so mean to me the entire time I was in Seattle, like so mean. But he didn't have his driver's license. I think it was expired, so he couldn't drive, and I was driving him. He was yelling at me every single time I was driving, and it wasn't because I wasn't even a bad driver. He was just straight up yelling at me for no reason all the time. Like he yelled at me more in 3 days than I've gotten yelled at by my parents my entire life. So he was just really toxic as I was there. It was really mean to me. At one point, he even left me, like, as he went to his ex's graduation. And by the way, I was staying with him. I did not book an Airbnb. I was staying with him. He left me at my friend's the whole day. The whole day. Although it was just supposed to be till 2 and he would pick me up. I was there the whole day. And then I was freaking out because I'm like, what the heck? I'm not gonna stay with my friends. Like, it's not, she was moving out of her dorm. Like, she didn't have a solid place to stay right now either. So I ended up calling one of his friends and I was crying because I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I was telling him about all of last week, how we already broke up, and he was just being so mean to me, all this stuff. And his friend, his name is Cameron, shout out to him. I don't think he watches my YouTube videos. I love you. Like, although you're friends with him, you're awesome. Like, to this day, I'm still really grateful for what you did, and you're a good guy. You're great. Cameron didn't know about any of this, so I don't hate him for anything. He's just an awesome dude. He picked me up and was like, what's going on? I didn't even know you and John were in a relationship, like all this stuff. And I was just like, yeah, we were. Like, when I first met you, the first time was when, like, we were trying to test out the water to see if we should date. And I was telling Cameron all this stuff. And then Cameron tried calling John, and John was like, yeah, I'll pull through, I'll show up later. It was like 9 p.m. and he was still not there. And then, like, we were all trying to be like, yo, like, where are you? Like, I'm, like, you're low-key, like, I was responsible for me. Like, where are you? He stopped picking up the phone. He stopped picking up Cameron's phone call, all this stuff. Finally, me and Cameron figured out where he was at, and I went to him, and he was fine. You know what he was doing? Partying with his friends. Drinking and partying with his friends instead of answering my phone calls and all this stuff. He's literally the worst person ever. John was doing fine. He was partying with his friends. I don't know why he was sending me pictures of him cutting himself, but he was doing fine. He really was fine. Like, ever since then, from what I could tell, he didn't do anything else. But yeah, so that was that. And then I flew back to LA, and we still kept in contact because John, I'm gonna tell you guys a little tea, owed me a little bit of money. Not a little bit, it was called a lot of money. So we stayed in contact because, hello, you owe me money, like, pay up. So he owed me a little bit of money. And in the end, I'm just gonna tell you guys this. He didn't pay me back. Cameron actually paid me back, and he paid back Cameron. That's how good of a guy Cameron is. But I found out that he was cheating on me because although we broke up when I came back to LA, we were still keeping in contact because I was calling him here and there just to make sure, you know, he was okay. Like, he wasn't depressed still. I, like, wasn't, like, having suicidal thoughts or anything like that. We were still in contact, and I remember one day, throughout our entire 3-month relationship, he would always talk about Michelle, but in a very negative light. And he was just basically telling me she was this girl that would never leave him alone. And my best friend at the time knew him before me, right? And she validated everything he was saying. She was just like, yeah, Michelle's just some girl that's obsessed with him, all this stuff. Like, he got my best friend to believe that Michelle was obsessed with him. And then one day, I was talking to him, and he was just complaining about Michelle and was telling me how, like, she's talking badly about him on Twitter and, like, saying all these negative things about him. And I was like, oh, well, do you want me to, like, slide in her DMs and talk to her for you? And he was like, no, like, I'm a man, I can handle the situation myself, like, all this stuff, telling me not to do it, right? Well, I did it. And guess what I found out? Michelle and I realized he was dating us both and dumped us both the same week. And then guess what I realized as he dumped us both the same week? The week after, like a few days after, he got a new girlfriend, okay? Not started dating a girl, got a new girlfriend and took her to his aunt's wedding. I don't hate his new girlfriend, even though she cussed me out. It's another story time, but I don't hate her. if you're watching this, girl, I don't hate you. I really don't care. You can call me names all you want. I have nothing against you. You did nothing to me. I don't like your boyfriend, and all I'm gonna say to you is watch out. Like, he's doing things to you that he did for us, and it's all part of his game. Just be careful. But Michelle and I realized, and I knew Michelle wasn't lying and she wasn't obsessed with him, because she showed me like text proof that they had together, like conversations after conversation. And what was funny is my friend at the time from Seattle, she knew Michelle. Like, they weren't friends or anything, but John took her to like Michelle's birthday party, and Michelle and my friend Remy added each other on Snapchat. So Michelle always knew of who I was as well, and John always told her I was just Remy's friend. And Michelle was always asking John why I was always in Seattle, and John was just like, I don't know, she's visiting Remy, I don't know who she is. And then at one point, John made her delete Remy off of Snapchat. So he's sneaky. He tries to be sneaky, but he's not. It happened to be that after we found out Michelle was also going to be in LA in a few weeks to visit one of her friends, so we met up and became BFFs. And I was never able to confront John about like cheating on me, because he still owed me money at that time. So me and Michelle were trying to keep everything low key, because I was just like, yo, I need my coins back. Like, hello? People in Seattle talk. I don't like that city. People in that city talk a lot, and someone told him that we knew each other and we knew he was cheating on me. So he texted me saying, I know you and Michelle are like conniving a plan to like ruin me, all this stuff, but like he was still denying it to that day that he was not dating Michelle. Like, I had text conversations and I even showed Michelle it, and Michelle was like, what the fuck does he mean we weren't dating? Like, literally I have text conversations of him telling me he loves me, all this stuff. Like, Michelle was telling me all this stuff. And I was just like, no, girl, I know. He's just a conniving liar. Like, in the end, he didn't pay me back. He paid me back. You know how much he actually sent me on that? He owed me a lot of money. Let me just put it to that point. He will owe me a lot of money. And you know how much he cashed out me? 40 bucks. $40 total. And I remember him cash apping me. And when I started asking for my money back, he was like, didn't I just send you money like the other day? And I was like, you sent me $40. That's not even half, or even like 20% of how much in the money you owe me. In the end though, Cameron paid me back, so shout out to him. If you guys are single and want to date an Asian boy, Cameron is single. Cameron was just like, yeah, I'm gonna pay you back so you don't have to no longer be in contact with John, because this is just ruining your mental health, all this stuff. And then I will get the money back from John myself, because Cameron was from Seattle and they were actually friends. So Cam would actually, so John would actually pay him back, and I would check up with Cameron here and there, just make sure John paid him back, because you know, this is my issue at the end of the day, and it's not your fault to resolve issues and mistakes that I made. So I wanted to make sure John paid it back, and he did. If you guys want a whole Q&A for me and Michelle when she comes to LA, so when she's coming in March, in a few weeks, for her birthday, I can totally make a whole separate Q&A for me and Michelle. If you guys have any relationship advice, any questions you want me and Michelle to answer, leave them in the comments below and I will be sure to answer them for you. I love this girl to death. Michelle is now happy and a beautiful relationship. She's really happy, and let me just tell you, if you're wondering who the side girl was, it was me. It was me. Michelle was dating him for like a year or like 8 months or whatever. And she showed me conversations of him treating her. At least throughout our little 2 months or 3 months relationship, he was nice to me, at least majority of the time. He was so rude and mentally and verbally abusive to Michelle. Like, I hate you. If you're watching this, I truly think you are the most disgusting person in the entire world. So I'm gonna answer now. I posted on my community page any relationship advice you guys want me to answer, and that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys want another Q&A on relationship advice, let me know in the comments below. And also, in my future videos, I'm gonna be filming other videos that are not BTS related as well. I know recently I have been filming a lot of BTS related content, and that's just because comeback just happened, so I'm filming a lot of stuff because every single day there's like new stuff happening. But once everything settles down, I'm gonna be uploading like a nighttime skincare routine, morning time skincare routine, morning routines, all of that video, all of that stuff for you guys, and vlogs hopefully in the future. So subscribe down below if you have not. Give this video a big thumbs up for me, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.